Hey everybody! All right, we're live. Boy, have we had a busy day today. What is he doing with the covers? What is he doing? We are not in our bedroom. For those of you who are just tuning in, we're not in the bedroom. You're looking at this camera. The camera's over there. You want to see yourself. You're like, look at yourself over there with Instagram. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our show. I'm Regina. This is my wonderful husband, Clovis. We are doing our Happy Marriage series, bedroom edition, but we're in the guest room, sitting on the sofa, chilling to have this conversation. It has been one of those days. I think one of those weeks.
Weeks, yeah.
One of those weeks for us. This week has been something else. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so we are here to talk about something, babe, that I have on my page, and actually, I want to share the page. So if you want to just tell the people hello.
How's everybody doing today? Hopes a good Friday for each and every one.
I know.
Everybody's getting out to work, heading home to enjoy a peaceful and enjoyable weekend.
Everybody enjoy your beautiful day today, your beautiful week.
Yeah,
We need to have a good week right about now.
weekend.
Weekend, weekday. All right, we need to have one. All right. So, hey, welcome to the show. And we have a show that we want to discuss marital relationships, but finding ways that married couples can have a happy marriage lifestyle. And I have found that a lot of that is attributed to us being able to have open, honest, and good conversations with one another. Usually, when you have a spouse, a mate, or a significant other, and you're not being truthful and honest with them, it's hard for you to really have a long lasting happy relationship. You might have a temporary happy relationship, and then when all the honest truth starts coming out, there goes some of that because you've kind of started off the relationship as a facade.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the basic with our relationship, my husband and I, we have learned that if we're just open and honest with each other, whether it's our life how we were before or our personalities how we were before, just be honest with who you are. Don't try and be someone that you're not. Okay?
You.
Just be you. That's the best thing to do is to just be you. Okay?
Just be me.
Just be me. That's going to bring us into our topic today. Our topic is whose behavior is this?
Whose behavior is this?
Whose behavior is this? That's our conversation topic for today. And when I say whose behavior is this, that's interesting because a lot of times people will act a certain way or behave a certain way or do things a certain way, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, or good behavior or bad behavior. They oftentimes people will say, "Where did you get that from? How are why are you acting like that?" Or and
Who you been hanging out with?
who you been hanging out with? Right? You ever think to yourself, there's some characteristics that you yourself have, and you're like, okay, now where did I get this from? Or you ever see like your parents do something, and your friends or family or whoever will be like, tell you like, you're just like your parents, or you're just like your mom, you're just like your dad, and you're like, no, I'm not. I'm not at all. You don't see it, but they see it. You ever had that happen to you, babe?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Where people were like, "You're doing this, you're like your mom." Or what's an example that you could probably give us?
I don't have an example. I didn't have either. I'm just, I just grown to be just me. I don't pick up no habits from
But it's not a bad habit. It's not anything bad. What I'm saying is sometimes we do stuff
Mhm.
and we are emulating our parents without us even knowing we're doing that. For instance, great example. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Great example. The commercial where the man comes on and says, "Okay, we're not going to be our parents." You know the
That's yeah. I like that commercial.
right. He says,
Yes.
"Okay, we're not going to be our parents. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that." Right?
Right.
And he's like, "Okay, these are things that your parents used to do."
Mhm.
And the people are like, they're not realizing that it's something that their parents used to do. It's just something that they started doing, and so they wonder, where did this come from? Right?
Mhm.
But I think a lot of it does come from us emulating our parents or those that we have close attention with, those who we're around a lot.
Mhm.
It comes from a lot of that. That's my feeling, that it comes from a lot of us hanging around them, and that could be a good thing, and it also can be a bad thing. You have some traits from some of your family members or friends or that you've been hanging around, and you're emulating them. Sometimes it's good, and sometimes it is bad. But we want you to start doing a self reflection and also lending an open ear to your friends and those who are around you that may be trying to tell you, hey, this or that about you, not trying to hurt you, but simply trying to get you to see an adjustment that may need to be done on you so that you could have a better communication with other people or better, being around other people, something like that. Some people will often say, well, I don't understand why nobody wants to hang out with me. I'm such a nice person, you know? And you might be nice in your mind, but you may not be as nice when it comes to outside appearance or people that are looking at you from the outside. They
Mhm.
may be seeing something that does not give them the comfort level to want to continually be around you.
Right.
And sometimes it's very hard and sometimes it feels hurtful for us to want to tell the other individual, listen, this is, why, there's this situation, why I feel this way about you and so forth. They don't want to necessarily try and correct because they don't want to be the one to bring you the bad news because first, they don't know what wrath they're going to get, or maybe they do know what wrath they're going to get and they don't want that wrath.
Mm.
Or the other thing, they may be saying, I'm just going to wait for somebody else to tell them. I don't want to be the one to tell them,
Mhm.
you know? But if you are feeling like, hey, I don't understand why people don't want to be around me. I don't understand why, nobody wants to hang out with me. Nobody wants to be my friend or family, don't want to hang. What is going on with me? Do a self-reflection of yourself and try to figure out what it is. Now, I'm saying all that because I want to say this as it pertains to marriage. When you combine your relationships, your husband's friends become your friends, a wife's friends, vice versa, your families are merging together. There may be some people that, first of all, they may not know you that well and they're just starting to learn who you are. And they may have some issues with who you are as an individual, and it may not be pleasant to them. And we have to be able to understand that we're all coming from different backgrounds, different, being raised differently, and so forth. And so we have to find a way to merge the two. I know a lot of times people will say, well, I'm just going to be me, and I don't care if they don't like it, so forth. I'm not telling you to change who you are. I'm simply saying that sometimes when you're merging relationships with somebody else and you're bringing all these different people, you have to understand how to be able to fit in and still be yourself,
Mhm.
but not cause any hurt to those that are just getting to know you and trying to figure out, is this relationship between the two of you actually going to work?
Right.
Right? I mean, it's not a mouthful. What do you think?
You're exactly right.
That's what he's going to say. But I want everybody to understand this. Look back at yourself and see if there's something in you that you could possibly change to not necessarily say that you're going to change. Again, you're not necessarily going to change who you are, but just understand that everybody has a certain tolerance level or look level or association level that they want to deal with. And then they also have the same things that they don't want to deal with, certain levels they don't want to deal with. But kindness can go a long way, and understand that if you come in showing that perfect kindness, listen, I'm just going to do my best. If I offend anyone, please let me know. Have the open conversation. A lot of times people don't want to be told they're being rude.
Just want to keep being rude.
They don't want to be told they're being rude. You know? I'm a very vocal person. I don't hold too much in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hold too much in. Hey, how you doing, Tyrone? Tyrone, good afternoon, family. How you doing? I don't hold too much in. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I normally like to come in. Hey, how you doing? How's everybody? A lot of times people are like, oh my gosh, you're too loud. I can't take you all the time. And if that's the case, and they're sincerely saying I'm too loud, it's not just a joking, then I may be around them. I may just tone it down just a little bit. But it's not changing who I am. And then I'm also vocal to the point of, if someone says, is being rude or something, I may come up to them and say, that's not really nice that you're doing, or, come on, can you kind of, be a little nicer, because I think you're kind of being a little offensive. I've done that even with some of your family members.
Mm-hmm.
I've told them, hey, I don't think, you being as nice to him as I think you can be, or what you just said is really out of line, and I think it deserves an apology. I've even done that with tenants. My husband, does property management, and there have even been some tenants that have called him and been off the bat yelling at my husband, screaming at my husband. I understand his business and all, but I've had to even have communication with some of these tenants to say, I don't think you came at my husband the right way. I think you misunderstood him. I think you're misunderstanding him. And maybe it would be best if you reconsider your tone. To the effect. Reconsider that tone. But in a nice way. Hey, I think you owe him an apology, because you're portraying him to be somebody that he's not. And I think there's a big misunderstanding. But I voiced it to them. And when I voiced it to them, the next time they had an issue with him, they will remember that conversation, and then they would come to him in a different light, in a different way. So instead of me covering it up and hiding it and pushing it aside, what that actually does, when you push stuff aside, you actually save it for it to resurface again by not speaking on it, by not having the conversation about it.
Mm-hmm.
You actually allow it to fester and grow again.
Right.
Tell me what your thoughts are. You sitting there kind of quiet. I know you're tired today.
Thoughts on what?
On opening up and speaking to people and telling them how you feel and telling them about your thoughts or so forth. Like if somebody is being rude, what do you do?
Me, I'm a soft guy.
Yeah,
I
right.
let people get away with stuff that maybe they shouldn't get away with.
But when you do that, what does that happen? What happens with that
Yeah,
situation?
sometimes I just let them say what they gotta say, and don't pay no attention. Just let it blow off like water off a duck's back.
And how?
I just keep moving. I don't let it bother me anyway. They're just talking and yapping. It doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't phase me one bit.
Sometimes. Now that's the key. You said sometimes it doesn't phase you. But what about those other times when it does phase you?
I might get a little upset.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But you get upset. But here's the thing. How do we come back and fix it? Because if there's no communication ever being had, there's nothing ever being fixed. And my thing is, oh my gosh, it could create itself again. That's the way I view it. And the same thing in marriages. If you're having conversations or not having conversations with your spouse about situations that happen, and you're just letting them blow over, like he said, like water off a duck's back, then you're allowing that same thing to come back again.
You address it when it needs to be addressed.
Okay, and when is that?
Uh-huh.
When is that? When does it need to be addressed?
If you say something to me and maybe get a little offended by it. I might not say nothing right there and then, but maybe let it blow over,
I get you.
and then I'll come back and say, blah, blah, blah.
I get it. So what you're saying is you basically will hold off on the conversation.
You don't want two hot heads.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
We have one hot head is enough.
Ah!
You don't need two going at each other.
That's a good point.
Let one person blow off steam, and then you come back and let them say what they have to say, and then you come back and do your rebuttal.
I like that. And I think that's something that we could, people as married couples and family and friends and so forth. That's an excellent point. If you feel like, hey, they've hurt my feelings, I'm mad, I'm angry, I feel a little salty, but I don't want to address it right now because I am salty and it may not come off the way I really wanted to.
Right.
Let me calm myself down a little bit. Let me think about this, how I'm going to present it, and then let me revisit it. Mm-hmm. Right?
That's correct.
I think that's an excellent point to do, but make sure that it gets addressed eventually.
Mm-hmm. Don't let it go too far out.
Right. Don't let it go too far out. Address it. And then, hopefully there can be some healing that will take place during that because of that conversation that happened, right?
Right.
All right. For those of you, I'm going to just pause real quick. Our books are in. We had a back order. We had to order some more. We've got the books in. This is a book that my grandmother wrote. And it says, we made a vow. We made a vow, to God be the glory. And it speaks of her relationship with my grandfather, the long relationship they had. My grandmother, my grandfather were only married one time to each other. They had no exes, no ex-wives, no ex-husbands. And we have these books that are available for you free of charge. We're going to be mailing these out for those of you who have placed your orders. I have those orders. I haven't forgotten you. We just got our replenish order in because they were on back order. Had so many orders came in. They were on back order. So these books will be going out this week. Okay. So we've just got the order in. If you would like to have your free copy, all you have to do is inbox me or put it in the chats. Hey, I would like my free copy. This book has some valuable information about things that my grandmother and my grandfather did to have a happy marriage. It's very inspiring. It's not really thick at all. It'll take you just maybe a few hours to read it, maybe, or less than that. But it's packed with really great tips, what they did in their marriage and maintained a happy, loving marriage until my grandfather went to be with the Lord. But this book is packed with valuable information. And I want you to have it, whether you're married already or whether you're seeking to be married, you can have your free copy of this book. It is going to help you, I'm telling you, in its compact size, okay? This is actually my grandmother here and my grandfather. These are their actual pictures here. It has information about my grandmother on the back here as well. She's an author. And she has written this book to share with married couples like yourselves and those who are looking to be married. Even if you're dating, we want you to have this book, okay? You're going to enjoy this book. It's really pleasant, and I even learned some information after reading this.
I know.
About my grandparents.
Yeah.
I mean,
very interesting.
I liked it, right? It made you like feel as though you were there with them while she was writing the stories. Right. You felt like you were right there with them. And they were together for, oh my goodness, years and years and years and years. And raised children together, went through hardships together, went through some trying times, but yet through it all, they survived, and so did their marriage.
Amen.
And so we've got our order in, and I'm so grateful that we've gotten our order in, our replenished order. And these books are going to be headed your way. Again, if you would like your free copy, put it in the chat or send me an inbox so we can get your copy to you. Okay? Let's go ahead and get started on our next phase of the show, our chat. It's time to talk. All right, these cards we've got, again, we're introducing these to those of you who weren't watching our show before, but you're watching tonight. This is from a company called Ace Metaphor. Ace Metaphor have created these conversation cards. And conversation cards are really great because they're going to help you to have the conversation with your spouse or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your friend or your husband or wife. Have the conversation so that you can have a better communication process with your significant other. My husband and I are doing the couples edition. There are three other editions. There's like a single edition or dating edition or after dark edition, and all kind of stuff. So you can have those open conversations. And I believe these cards are great to have for people who don't know how to have the conversations with one another. They don't have, like my husband says, I have the gift of gab. They don't have the gift of gab. Okay.
I don't.
It's hard to have the conversation. But also, these cards are great for just asking the questions that you probably would have never thought you would ask, but they need to be asked. And also, when you ask these questions, always try and have fun with it. Honesty is the best thing over thing. Be honest with your answers. And the reason why we're using these cards on our show is because we want to have the conversation about married life and have our opinion of what we think works and what we think does not work, because we want every marriage to work.
Yes, we do.
The main reason why we're doing the show, sharing our own life, with other people. And we started this whole show because we had so many people would ask us, how is it that you guys have such a happy marriage? You guys are always happy. You guys are always like, fun to be around, each other and so forth. And so we decided, listen, let's just put it on a TV show. Yes, Lord.
T-shirt.
On a show. You do T-shirt. I'm doing the TV show. Let's put it on a program here so that people can go back and watch it over and over again and get some of those answers. And we want you to share your stories with us too about how you maintain your happy marriage. What are some of the things you do in your marriage? I think a lot of times people don't want to share a lot of the good that holds a marriage together. I don't know why, but they would rather share all of the bad that destroyed the marriage. Is that kind of facts? They're kind of quick to share the bad, but they're not so quick to share the good. But we want to share the good.
Yeah, what happened was good. Yeah, you're right about that. Let's talk about bad stuff.
Yeah, they want to talk about bad stuff.
What destroyed the marriage?
Oh my goodness, he did this and that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep, we need more good news.
We need more good news. More good news.
We ain't got good news.
All right. So let's go. Let's get started. You want to go first? So we're going to ask each other these questions. And the one who pulls the card is going to ask the question, and then vice versa, and we're going to answer.
Okay, the question is, what pain did you experience that you never want your future children to feel?
Oh my God. I want to say hello. I think also if my grandmother is watching, hello. Hey, Grandma Lewis, Granny, love you. And my cousin Tammy. All right. What pain? Read that again because I'm going to give you an answer, and most of you probably,
So what pain did you experience that you never want your future children to feel?
The pain that I experienced that I would never want my children, because we do have children, what I would never want my children to experience is physical abuse in my marriage. Not this marriage. As most of you know, if you follow our channel, you know that I was married previously. My husband was also married previously, and now we've been married for almost 20 years. So to answer that question, I would not want my children to ever experience physical abuse in any relationship, especially in their marriage. And I did experience that. I went through physical abuse. I went through mental abuse, and it is not a happy thing for anyone to go through. I don't believe anybody who says that I love you with their lips will hit you with their hands. I don't believe that should ever take place. So that's something that I myself experienced, and I don't want my children to experience it, and I don't want any of you to continue to experience anything like that either. I don't want to do that, right?
Sure enough.
Yes, Tammy says she is watching. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you for watching. And I'm sorry I'm leaning over here to get these spammers off my page. There's some spammers on the page. All right, so we're going to block them. All right. So Tammy is watching with grandma. Hey y'all. All right. All right. So that was that when you hear your wife
Mhm.
saying that she went through physical abuse and mental abuse in a previous relationship,
Mhm.
how does that make you feel?
It makes me don't feel too feel good that you had to experience what you had to experience, and I'm glad that you shared it with me, so I could understand and you know your feelings and how you you live your life and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's difficult. And I think sometimes men and women need to have this conversation, this part right here. Hey, did you ever deal with any physical or mental abuse in a prior relationship? And the reason why that conversation is very important is because sometimes a person's reaction is based on their past actions.
Mhm.
And so you might be having conversations or dealings with them and not knowing why they're reacting the way they're reacting. And it may have to do with their past relationship. And also get a good understanding, and have the conversation. If there was physical abuse before, you need to be able to assure them and guarantee them that they won't have to deal with that in your current relationship, in this current relationship, because people who've gone through physical abuse and mental abuse, I went through it, not as bad as a lot of people have, but listen, one lick is the same as 5,000. It's a lick is a lick, or a hit is a hit. But what I would like for people to do is to have the conversation, because when people who have gone through mental abuse and physical abuse, when they get in another relationship, one thing they want to know is they want to know that they're secure.
Mhm.
They want to have that security. They want to have that comfort. They want to know that this person is going to be there to protect me and not hurt me. And so, you have to have, I think you should have that conversation with each other.
Yeah, if you go experience something, you can go to another relationship.
Right.
You want that person to know what you went through, and make sure you don't repeat the same.
You want to make sure you're not
The
repeating the same
same,
thing.
yeah.
And also, you're right, Holy Spirit. Also, there are some people who themselves, the children, remember we were talking about the children, are you emulating the parents' behaviors or something? There are some people who are adults now who did not go through physical abuse themselves, but they saw physical abuse with their parents.
Hmm.
And so that's kind of mental traumatized to them as well. They've watched it.
Not just their parents, but maybe other family
Other
members.
family members, or somebody that's really close to them,
Right.
they've witnessed the physical abuse, the mental abuse, and they've had to deal with that, and it became like a stigma in their life. And so sometimes some people may wonder, why am I not having a good relationship? Why am I can't have this good relationship? It may be because there's something in your past that you need to dump out, find a way to restart. But yes, I would never, or no, I would never want my kids to ever have to deal with any sort of physical abuse or even mental abuse
Hmm.
ever. Not my grandchildren, not nobody. Not I don't have grandchildren yet, but I'm when they come, I don't want them to have to experience. Okay. All right. Next question. All right, this is for you. Do you feel like what I do for a living fits my purpose?
What I
And
do for a living?
explain what I do for a living.
Who's I? Me?
Me.
Do you?
I is me. Do you feel like what I do for a living fits my purpose?
I don't think it's. Is it talking about you or to me? What I do?
Do you feel like what I do?
You. Yeah, you
I.
asking the question.
I'm asking the question. All right, what do you think?
Go ahead.
Do you feel like what I do for a living
Mhm.
fits my purpose?
I don't think you're happy doing what you're doing.
Oh,
Oh, no. this is what you like doing, what you're doing now,
There you go.
helping people, giving people advice, and find a way to, others who are less fortunate or anything like that. That's your gift to motivate and to
Yeah.
find ways to help others. I think the real estate that you're doing now is not, it's paying the bills, but it's not what you like to, one of
It's
your
not.
favorite things to do.
And you're right. You're absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head and nailed it to the wood. That's exactly on point. I do real estate because it's my profession.
Hmm.
It's what brings the money in. And the question is, do you feel like what I do for a living fits my purpose? And I don't, I guess it fits my purpose to bring the money in at the time, because what I really want to do, I don't see a lot of people making a lot of money on it. My purpose is, I do want to help as many people, families, and everybody as I can in a positive manner, help build relationships and fix relationships. That's really my passion and my goal, to
Hmm.
help build up people's character, people who have been, sunk down and think that they have no value, they have no worth. I want to come in like a light and just bring them back up and say, listen, you are a good person. You're better than what you think you are. I
Right.
want to be like that joke, when you give the car a jump,
I
you come
really,
and
I really give somebody that.
yeah, that defibrillator.
Yeah,
Defibrillator is what they call it. Defibrillator.
the jump start.
That's what I want to be.
When you put a cable on a battery,
That's right.
the battery is dead. You put a cable on there, jump start it,
And I bring it back to life.
bring it back to life.
Exactly. That's exactly what I want to be. I want to do stuff like that for people. And because, you're right, Holy Spirit, because I had to jumpstart myself. Because when I was going through my dark moments in life and situations that happened, I really didn't have people around me jump starting me.
Hmm.
And I had to learn how to dig myself out of some of those dark moments of my
Right.
life. I had to dig myself out. So I know how it feels to be down there and how to have to claw yourself out of depression, how to claw yourself out of being sad all the time, have to claw yourself out of thinking that you're less than, or that you're worthless. I had to do that. And a lot of people see me now and they're like, well, you're always so cheerful. You're always so happy. You're always laughing all the time. I wasn't doing that all the time. When I was in my dark moments, when I was younger, it was really, really hectic and hard. But I sat down one day and prayed and talked to God and said, listen, I don't want to be this person anymore. And basically, it's like God told me, then change. You change. You change. Don't let the darkness overtake your light.
Hmm.
And so that's what I started doing. So I started smiling more, I started laughing more, and people sometimes they would pick at me when I would laugh so much, or pick at me when I would, joke around so much, and it almost as though they were trying to push me back into that dark mode. And so I was like, nope. After I got to the point, because it almost got me. It almost got me because a few times I was like, well, I'm just going to go in my corner. I'm just not going to say anything. I'm just, not going to be, happy. I'm just going to, be humdrum. And then I would just feel, it's almost like that pull, God pulling you, say, no, come out here. You're not, that is not who you are.
Hmm.
You're not going to let them beat you. You're a winner. Like the Bible says, you're more than a conqueror. You're the head and not the tail.
Amen.
You're above and not beneath. You don't let those that are below you try to put you below them. No, you're above.
I dig a grave for you.
Don't the grave you dig for me is you dig for yourself. That's what when you dig for me is you gonna dig for yourself. Because I had to learn how to do that. And so I want to teach other people how to do the same thing. What's your thought?
Yeah, I answered the question.
I think my husband, are you tired again? I think he's tired again. All right, let's go. A few more questions. And look at this. We have plenty of time.
We don't have too much time, right?
This guy.
Mm.
All right, what you got?
He said, if you could fight any battle for me, past or present, which would it be and why?
If I could fight any battle for you, past or present,
Hmm.
I fight
Which
battles for you.
which you fight Panther, you fight President.
I fight past, I fight present.
You do it both.
I do all of them. I have done all of them. I have fought past battles for you when you were dating and your ex kept trying to harass you, on the phone, and I fought that one. And people come at you. I fight. Listen,
Put up a good fight.
I
Right?
put up a good fight for my husband. I do. I do. I get that from my grandmother. She was a good fighter too.
It's not physical fight, right?
If I have to.
Battle of the mind.
Listen, sometimes this mouth of mine cuts people so hard that they don't even want the hands.
You rather have the mouth than the hands.
They'd rather have the mouth than the hand. No, but listen, I will go toe to toe in a defense mode. I don't create fights. I don't come in there trying to create a fight, but I will come in there letting you know that, listen, we're not going to sit here and tolerate. Now, I know how to be business professional and calm stuff down as well, and not always have the fight or the arguments and stuff like that. I know how to come in and have the conversations. But if there's been a time where none of that worked, and you all know, I'm sure y'all aware, y'all probably had same things happen.
Mm-hmm.
You try your best to have a calm conversation, a professional conversation, or family conversation where let's just calm the matter down. But then it went to the point where you're like, nope, let me just, nah.
Enough is enough.
And I didn't do like you said at the top of the show. I didn't wait the next day and come back. I handled that thing right there sometimes.
Some things need to be handled right there and then.
Some things need to be handled right there and then.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, instances where I defended you and took up for you and protected you, and it's usually with like women, because women will yell at you any kind of way and so forth. And then you being the man, you don't want to offend them because they are a woman, but I'm a woman. So I'm going to go ahead and take on a woman.
Woman to woman.
Woman to woman. Okay, let me have this conversation with you. Since he don't want to have it, let me have it. But it's all in an effort to try and make sure that nothing else goes awry. So yeah, I will protect you.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, you do it for me too?
Sure enough.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. If you could heal the pain inside of me, which would it be and why? If you could heal a pain inside of me, which would it be and why?
The pain that you went through with the 2 marriages that you had before, the physical and maybe the mental abuse and stuff like that.
That's nice.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah. Why would you want to heal that?
Because I want to see nobody hurt. I want to see everybody feeling like they're worthy of themselves. And,
right.
Right. Nobody feeling less than or
absolutely
unworthy.
Not.
But you put here for a reason. God made you, and when He made you, He made a good thing. So.
Amen. And I like that, and I like the question too, because when you go into a relationship with somebody else, there's always some past baggage. There's always some of that. So if you have these open conversations with one another, you may be able to say, listen, okay, I'm glad you shared that with me. I would make sure to make a conscious mind not to do that to you, because I don't want you to relive something that hurt you in your past.
Right.
So it's great to have these open conversations. I love that. Even sometime when we're playing around, with and my husband would go, because he loves all kind of sports, and he'll pretend like he's boxing me or something. Sometimes that still is like, nah.
You get the shakes.
I do. I'll be like, don't do that yet. And it's been almost 20 years. you know. And because he knows of what's happened, he'll try and redirect it some kind of way. But it's because he knows, and you have to have the conversation with your spouse so that they know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
Hmm. Have you completely let your guard down with me? Why or why not?
Oh, of course.
You unguarded?
I don't think I ever had a guard up with you. And you want to know why? Is because when I met you, and both of us, we are already going through, divorces and all that stuff and the hurt and everything. But I think I had healed to the point of I was just ready to just trust God. I wasn't looking for nobody. I wasn't looking for a relationship. I wasn't looking for a new spouse. I wasn't looking for a boyfriend. I wasn't looking for anything. I was just going about life.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have a guard up. I was just going about life.
And if you had a guard up after you met my mom and my aunts, I think your guard came down because they let you know I'm the man.
You know what? This one here.
Right?
I don't know about that, but if you want to say that, when I met
I
him,
told you what kind of guy I am. And
listen.
he said, oh, okay.
Okay, here he wants to tell his side of the story.
All the guards are down. You're in.
Listen, before we even went on our first date, and I think you were what, like 35 or something,
Yeah,
like about
34,
34, 35 or something like that. And he told me, okay, we were going to go on our first date, right? So he says, okay, I got to stop by my house and pick up something. So I'm like, okay. So it was our first day. So my sister came with me. Okay. Even though I was like 33 or something like that, or something, 33, 34, something like that. My sister still came with me because listen, we were going out. I don't know this guy to really take me, where he take me. So my sister came along with me, right? And he said he had to stop off to his mom's house. He had to stop off and pick up something. So when we get there, he says, okay, you guys, I need you to come out the house. Now, mind you, this is the first time I'm meeting his mom, right? So we get out, we go in the house, and I walk in the front door, and there in the living room, in the very front door, are these three little cute ladies all lined up in a chair, all three of them sitting in a chair in the front. They took the dining room table chairs and put them in the living room right there so that when you walk in, you see them. And I thought to myself, well, this is different. This is different. And here's the thing, people. He walked in first, and then I came in behind him, my sister behind me, and he looked at me and he says, well, you can have a seat on the sofa. Now, the sofa was right in front of these three chairs that the three ladies were facing. And I looked and I said, I thought he's just picking up something. So I sat down on the sofa, my sister and I.
You're getting introduced to the family.
I hadn't even got introduced yet. Like they hadn't even said, hello. They just looked at me like the iron wall.
Can I introduce you? This is Regina.
Okay.
And his sister Savannah.
And then after he did his introduction, people, this is what he did. He walked behind the three chairs and sat down on the floor and hid behind the three chairs.
No, I just sat down.
You were hidden behind the chairs. You were behind the chairs. They had high back chairs, and you were sitting there on the ground, and you were peeking out.
I was giving you the eye. I was winking at you. You got it. You got this.
I had no idea, people, that he was setting me up for the firing squad. And I tell you, his mom was in the middle, and her two sisters were on the side. And I sat there, and they drilled me. So, what's your name? And they went at me question after question after question. Have you been married before? Yes, I was married. What'd your mom say?
Do you have kids?
No, when I told her, when she said, have you ever been married before? And I was like, yes, I was married before.
Oh, Lord. Married before? You got kids? She said, yes, I got 2 kids. Oh, Lord. Lord have mercy. my nickname.
Yes.
You can manage 2 kids.
I mean, and her sisters were looking at him like, boy, and he's looking at me behind the chairs on the floor, and they drilled and they drilled and they drilled. But let me tell you this, I answered every question honestly. Honestly, I didn't hold back. I didn't cover up. I didn't sugarcoat. I answered every question honestly and right, Holy Spirit. I answered every question respectfully. I didn't tell him, well, that's my business. You know, he want me and it got nothing to do with y'all. No. I knew what I was up against right there.
It wasn't new school, it was old school.
It was old school. You don't mess with old school like that.
Yep.
You probably do that to one of the little them mothers at 25 years old, and they child 15.
Yeah.
But this was old school. Not only was it old school, this was island old school.
Mm-hmm.
These 3 Jamaican women, 3 sisters, they were not playing. If I would have came across them rude in any kind of manner, they'd have probably beat my butt theyself and sent me back home to my mama and told her she disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't do that. I answered every question respectfully and did not, shun on any words that I was saying, because I had to be an honest person. I'm an honest person anyway. That's just me by nature. But I did not want, even, and the thought, you're right, Holy Spirit, even the thought that if our relationship didn't work at that time, I didn't want for these ladies to think that I was a dishonest person or I was being a rude person or a disrespectful person. I wanted them to know who my mother had raised and that my mother did a good job of raising me. And my parents did a good job of raising me. I did not want them to have to go back or see my parents anywhere in the street and say, that's the lady who raised that disrespectful person.
Right.
I didn't want that. And then if it did work out, I wanted them to know that, hey, she's a kind person. She's a loving person and she's a respectful person. And I won the hearts of my grandmother, her too. I won the hearts of my mother-in-law, and I won the hearts of my aunts. They love me. They're all resting in heaven to get together, celebrating up there in heaven together. But let me tell you, I was the apple of their eye for years and years and years and years, and won over the hearts of the 3 firing squad, iron wall there. Yeah, I mean, what do you think? When we had that whole conversation with your mom.
You did a very, very good job.
You know what? I can't with him sometimes. I can't with him.
Yeah, you did what you did.
Yeah.
And they respected you and,
yes.
and everything. So
yeah.
That was good. They didn't have nothing to say after you left or anything that
No.
Yeah, just he was welcome. He was at welcome at the welcome table.
Oh yes. They were cooking for me after that.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Is it mine or yours? And then we're almost done with here. We're going to be closing out. Do you feel like you became a better person after meeting me? Why or why not?
Most definitely a better person. Because of your spirit and your warmth and your gentleness and your kindness.
Okay.
And you.
Now be honest. Tell the people honest. Be honest.
He wasn't a flashy kind of person.
Oh, no.
You're down to earth. He was just simple. You're not over the top or anything like that. You're easy to talk to, communicate with, and everything like that. So
right.
It wasn't very difficult. It was very easy to, after what I went through to communicate with someone like you. And the way you were brought up and everything, you just was, let's say, easy going.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And that's attributed to a lot of my parents, the way they raised me. My mom was always very vocal. She'd always, speak to, kind of like she never met a stranger. She would always speak up, and my dads, they were always, very community, always communicated well,
Beautiful.
Even when, and my dad, my birth father, and his name was Roderick, the same as my brother. He lived in West Virginia, and when we went to visit him, I mean, in West Virginia with my grandmother, you got to meet him, and I'm so glad you got to meet my dad. My dad's in heaven now, but you got to meet my dad, and
Sure enough.
he just had this open conversation. It was just like fine.
Yeah, he really like with cheese.
Oh my God, he liked you. Yes,
Because
yeah.
I cook him what he likes to eat when I go to
Liver.
chicken liver.
Yes,
With rice and everything. Cook me this. Okay. Get in the kitchen.
And my dad Edwin, who my mom married to, I mean, he was a saint, but I learned such good traits from all of them.
Right.
And that is what helped me to be a better person because of the leadership.
Who they were,
Right.
And what they stand for.
Oh my gosh, what they stand for. Absolutely. That is a key in building up a great person, what you stand for.
Yep.
I love that you said that, because your mom had standards that she was not going to negotiate with.
Right.
That was it. And if you didn't like her standards, then something was wrong with you. But it was nothing ever wrong with her or the two sisters.
Right.
But absolutely. She had high standards. And it doesn't mean that you're uppity or anything like that. It's just that, hey, this is what I'm going to tolerate.
No foolishness.
Right. And God was always first in both the families.
Yes.
In both the families, God is always first. And I think that's an even, big thing. That's why it's hard for me to think of some people who have different faith backgrounds, and then they're coming together as a married couple. It would seem kind of, for me, it seems kind of different or difficult sometimes, because you got one faith that believes this, another faith that believes that, and it's kind of hard to mesh. So I'm glad that you and I were on the same thing.
Yeah.
I think you were Baptist, I think, and I was Pentecostal. So that's all right, because we just had a party, because Pentecostals are radical anyway. And Baptists you were semi-radical, I think.
Yeah,
you weren't as radical.
Nah.
You weren't as radical, but same faith.
I was a soft Baptist.
You're a soft Baptist? That is so funny. I love that. All right, so let's get over here to this. We're gonna do two more cards here, and let me just get these. I tell you this, I don't know who this is on this spam stuff. Okay. All right. So, hey, okay, so Tammy says Uncle John is watching. Hey, Uncle John. Love you and Auntie. Thanks for watching. Share, share, share. For those of you who are just tuning in, also remember to click like and click share. We want to grow the channel. Grow, grow, grow. And actually, when you comment, that also helps us to grow this platform. Okay? So remember to click like, click share. All right? So we're going to go into a couple of more questions, and then we're going to head out. Okay, so y'all can get some rest, and so my husband can get some sleep. I think I'm going to have to start going back to like 10 in the morning for you.
No, this time is fine.
Yeah, I can't change it because Grandma already has her stuff set. So we come on at 6 on Friday. And I'm not going to change it because Grandma is already set.
Yep.
You don't change Grandma Christine. You don't change the stuff. All right, so it's your turn. And we want to thank Tyrone and I think Tyrone and Jennifer are watching too. Miss you guys from yesterday. Oh my gosh.
Wow, this is a good question.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
If I was no longer around,
what
would you miss about me the most?
Oh my gosh, I don't want to answer that.
It is what it is.
That makes me very sad. Okay, ask the question again.
If I was no longer around, what would you miss about me the most?
I would miss everything about you, but the most that I would miss about you is not being able to touch you. Not being able to have that, to feel you, touch you. There's so much that I would miss. I don't even want to think about that question. I rebuke that card in Jesus' name. I don't want to have to deal with that.
Think about it.
I don't want to think about that. But listen, let's put it to you this way.
Mm-hmm.
When you go out on appointments and I'm not with you, like if I stay and take care of paperwork, like today you had to go out to several appointments and I wasn't with you, I missed you when you weren't here. Even though I was working, trying to keep myself busy, when my husband even just leaves to go to the store, I miss my husband. Now, you're right, Holy Spirit. I am not stalkerish and I'm not that crazy. And when I'm going to say that, I'm saying this. Some of you spouses and husbands or wives, when your spouse leaves for 5 minutes, you're already blowing their phone up.
Where are you?
I mean, they haven't been gone for 5 minutes.
When are you coming? You on your way back?
You know, come on. Or you got the tracker on your phone. And you're like, well, why are you going that way? You should be going the other way. Where are you actually going? What? Come on, people. You have to be able to trust one another. Okay? But when my husband goes, I do. I miss him. I don't call him stalkerish, you know, but I do. I miss him. And you know,
I will call and tell you if leave this appointment and I'm heading back home or something like that.
And that's probably why you and I had that, because you're absolutely right. Like if he goes to one appointment, as soon as he gets there, he'll call me or text me and say, hey, I'm here. Mm-hmm. You know, or either when he's leaving, he'll say, okay, I'm leaving now, and I'm going here. And then when he gets there, we have the trackers on our phone, so we can see where each other are at. But just the mere fact of, and I do that as well. When I go somewhere, I'll say, hey, I'm here, or I'm headed over here or something like that. Right. So there's really not a great need to call each other. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? But, when you leave and just go to the store, I miss you. Especially when you have, trips and you go out of town. Oh my goodness, when you go out of town and I'm here by myself at night, I sleep on your side of the bed. I do. I sleep on your side of the bed because it kind of makes me feel safe. I'm in the house, by myself. I feel safe because and it's just your side of the bed, which is right next to my side of the bed. But it does. I mean, that's cool. All right, we're gonna end with this question. This is gonna be our last question for the evening, and it says this. It says, which one of us would you say is most in control of this relationship?
Is in control. I think we're 50-50.
I think so too.
I don't think nobody's controlling the other person. Mm-hmm. I'm not a control kind of guy. I'm easy to get along with. Easy. Just call me easy.
You know what?
Don't call me cheesy, just easy. Easy cheesy.
Let me tell you guys, when he gets sleepy, this is the way he is. This is the way he is. But honestly and truthfully, which one of us would you say is most in control of this relationship? Now, the word that I don't like in here is control. I don't like that word in this question at all. Okay? Because it almost has a negative impact on the relationship.
Right.
Because if we are trying to control one another, right, then it's going to be a battle for who has the most control. Right. And usually when you're battling, they don't want to be the loser, so they don't want to try and have more control than the other.
I'm not in this relationship or this match for a fight.
No.
To control somebody.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Say that twice. No, we're not in a relationship to control the relationship. We're in the relationship to build a relationship.
Yeah, build each other up.
Build each other up, not control each other. We're not robots here, So I don't think I like the question.
You don't like the one before, you don't like this one either. Two questions back to back.
But that's okay. That's okay. We're going to modify the questions to fit.
Yeah.
Well, we want to thank you all for joining us this evening. Thank you to my husband, who was super tired. I can tell. You're very tired today, huh?
Not really tired. but
She's a little tired.
a little bit.
Tired.
It's
We
been
thank.
a long week.
Oh my goodness, it has been a long, trying week. And we're gonna pray, and y'all pray for us too. That next week, and we're talking work wise. We're not taking And I think you're right, Holy Spirit. I think what really helps us with our business to be able to work together is because we find comfort in winding down with each other when we had a bad day or a rough day or rough week.
Yeah.
We can sit and have conversation with each other. We get comfort in each other to help strengthen us for that next day that we may have to deal with work and stuff like that. But I'm grateful to you. Grateful to you for doing this evening, even though you had a busy day today.
Yes, no problem.
Did you learn anything out of it?
What did I learn today? Yes. Don't be controlling.
No, we're not controlling. We're not. We want you all to have a wonderful relationship, a whole wonderful relationship. Have the conversation. You're right, Holy Spirit. Sometimes when you have been married for so long, like we said, we've been married for almost 20 years. And sometimes when couples have been married so long, they end up just not doing as much for each other. And they just go about the day as though it's just like programmed. And sometimes you have to come out of that robot syndrome in your marriage. The day in and day out is everything is the same. Do something different to enlighten the marriage. Don't let it keep going at that stalemate. Like the health bar thing that's at the hospital. And it's like when you're breathing and stuff like that, somebody is flatline. You don't want your relationship to flatline. It's still alive, but it's just a flat line. Nothing's there. You want to still have those, think those happy, the jolts of happy, times in your marriage, because that's going to let people know there's life still there. There's life still in your marriage. When you see those little jolts, and people are watching, they watch you and they see. And let me tell you, you're right, Holy Spirit, what happens when people see jolts of happiness in your marriage, it gives them the thought and idea that, hey, I could probably have this in mind. So you could probably be that light for somebody else. Don't let them see you, being, like humdrum and stuff. Like I talked to you the other day and I said, listen, one thing I love for you to start doing, and it's holding my hand when we're walking, or holding me at night when we're going to sleep. Because you don't want to get too caught up in not doing it, because then it becomes a routine of not doing it. And that's, can lead to, man, how did we get here? That conversation. And Lord knows you don't want to start having that conversation. How did we end up here? All right. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us this evening. Join us again next week, the same time, Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or inbox us. Remember, books are in. We've got our second order in, so we'll be shipping these out. They're going out to you next week, okay? No, I'm sorry, this coming week, all right? So we love you all for tuning in today. Stay happy, stay focused.
And stay blessed.
Stay blessed. All right. All right. On 3, sweetie, we're going to let everybody say goodbye. Let me just get my little thingy up here. You ready?
Yeah.
See y'all later. Bye. Bye.